All right, we're here, Queer Church, coming out on a Tuesday today. Yesterday was St. Patty's Day, and it is an obligation. Thanks so much. It's an obligation. Let me know if you can hear me. Um, to talk about St. Patty's Day because it happened, because reclaiming why reject when you can reclaim is a core principle for House of Our Queer. Thank you. So I'm not going to talk a ton about St. Patty's Day, but it is something I do. Yay, thank you. I do really want to just name a little bit about St. Patrick and about the day, and also really emphasize that the way that it's celebrated in America, parades and day drinking, is only happening here, is not part of really patron St. Patrick. So does not in any way need to be part of your, imagining of a reclaiming. And I just want to say some things I found out, like St. Patrick, the March 17th is actually his death date. It's the day that folks believe that he passed. And I love like a morbid tradition. I love something that is kind of based on the transition and veil. So there's a little bit of that happening. St. Patrick is the patron saint, of course, of Ireland, but also of Nigeria. And he has many, many things that people like pray to him for or ask for. But one of the things is he is the patron saint of migrants and also protection and guidance. And we could use some support. He was actually an immigrant. He wasn't from Ireland. He came from Britain to Ireland. And so that's really big to just think about. We're in such a time when undocumented and immigrant folks in our country are suffering and could use a patron saint. And what if there's just a little extra boost to, so even just, sending a couple of protect our migrants, protect our people, a little bit extra of that energy this week. I personally wasn't celebrating yesterday. I was at a gay panic club. I'm in this club where friends and I get together to kind of think about and think through what our emergency plans are, what our evacuation plans might be, what are the resources that we have individually and collectively. And I encourage anyone, if you're not just kind of thinking about where your important documents are or how much water you could access or save, um, you know, not to not to induce gay panic, but not a bad idea, not a bad community connection club moment. But all to say, those are all some just notes. We are here. We are here in eclipse season. We are here also in this time of all of the energy. March is a very potent, energetic month in 2025. So if you're feeling tired, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling stressed, that is the norm. You are doing it right. You are as above, so below, as the witchy femme loves to say. You are within the rhythm of the cosmos. So I also want to say thank you to anyone who came out to the Wellbeing Fair on Saturday. I did a conversation circle about building queer spiritual ritual, which I got a lot out of. And I wanted to just name here one of the things we talked about was the importance of having our own calendars, like the importance of having our own ways to measure and keep track of time. Because if we are going to follow the Gregorian calendar, it's always going to tell us that we are late, that everything is due, that the time to produce is now, that the time to buy is now. And it's not. And eclipse season, I call it snow globe time. Like everything is shaken up. What's underneath is coming up. It's more visible. We can really see and often feel, hear, smell the things that we've been holding, the things that have been underneath that we've been like white knuckling through. And so if any of that has been coming up for you, you are again right on time. And with that in mind, our reading and moment to begin today is going to be from the Rest deck, the Nap Ministry, with a little message for ourselves. So before any of that, go ahead and just let your mind melt. Let any of those ideas that I peppered today maybe plant little seeds. And if not, just float away. That's fine. Breathe a couple of nourishing breaths. Notice your breathing. Notice if, while I talked about the calendar of patriarchy, your breathing got more shallow. And go ahead and make sure you're breathing all the way down to your diaphragm. Maybe take a moment to pretend there are little roots growing from your body to your chair or your bed or the floor, whatever position your body is in, to connect with the ground, to connect with below, sending down some anchors to the earth, the solid core. And then also, of course, inviting in some delicious energy, some supportive energy, some stardust in to swirl around, not just your physical body, but your energetic self, your energy. There is a planet or a sphere outside of our physical bodies that keeps our energy from everyone else's, from everything else. And it's always great to send a little stardust, send a little cloud of protection to your energy so that as you move about your day or you move about your night, you can distinguish what's mine and what's everyone else's. What is the world's worries and fear? What is my worries and fear? What is the world's self-defense? What is mine? What am I working on? And what can I let go? And just go ahead and anything that needs to go, you can push it outside of your bubble. You can drain it down your roots. You can send it like sparks out from the top of your head away. And just get a sense. All right, here we are. I'll let you play with that in any way that feels connected or grounded. And we'll invite in a message. What do we need to hear about rest, especially in the time of the eclipse? I'll just rest deck here. Staring out the window and gazing at the sky or a tree is rest. And I will say right now, the planets are in this like parade of visibility. So many planets are in retrograde. I'll talk about that in a moment. But there's so much going on in the sky. So yes, if you're feeling all the energy, if you are working from a desk like me and many other folks do, giving yourself some time, and I'll say today, but this week, to pause, to maybe even go outside and look at a tree and lean on a tree, or take your shoes off and walk in the grass. Or if you're more urban, just look at the sky, look at something spacious, tend to your plants in a loving way. Me, I have a betta fish and a little fish tank with little tiny minis, and I try to spend some time to watch them feed, watch them swim. I'll read this. In a culture focused on hyper productivity, it can feel uncomfortable to sit and do nothing and let silence wash over you. Doing nothing is a radical act. It is a radical part of your lifelong rest practice. To be intentional about embodying rest disrupts systems of oppression. We must practice rest. We must commit to it as a protest. We must go slow. Go stare at the sky. Go stare at your heart. And I will say this is very perfect for eclipse season. Eclipse season, it says, to do nothing is a radical part of your lifelong rest practice. In eclipse season, which we are in right now, because we had the lunar eclipse last week and we're working towards a solar eclipse in Aries coming next week. In this in-between time, when the eclipses are happening, when all of these things are shifting and changing, we are advised not to manifest. not to do a specific ritual. Even though these occur as full moons, as new moons, we don't do the same new and full moon rituals that we might do other times of the year. And that's because the universe is doing it for us. And there are things right now that are happening that are so much bigger than us. Oh, like we said, like that we're seeing these systems dismantle themselves. It is crumbling. And we're just advised, even though it's uncomfortable, and even though we want to do things, to sometimes just have a moment to let things happen. And this idea of like having radical rest, having and allowing the cosmos to do their thing. And, I invite you to imagine, if you're not super into the cosmos and you didn't come here for that, that's absolutely fine. But how could you take that in this week to say, what if I did less? Maybe there's a conflict happening, or there's a lot of things you've promised and some of them need to go, and there needs to be saying, actually, like, what are your personal boundaries that you can strengthen this week to buffer in some more time for rest, for recharging yourself, so that you can better connect to your intuition and say, yeah, this is a hell yes for me, or like, this is a no, and to really use that and to trust that. So that is an offering I have for you this week. I'll just say, for astrology, yes, it's eclipse season. We also have, we're in the first Mercury retrograde of 2025. It goes until April 7th, so we have a little bit of time here. So thank you for being kind with me for technical difficulties, and if I'm not saying exactly the right words that I want to be saying, thank you. It's one of the reasons I love, following Mercury retrograde, but not fearing it. We don't want to fear the astrology. We don't want to zip our nervous system up and wait for something to pass. Mercury retrograde, even though it is intense, happens several times a year, 3 or 4 times every year, and we all do it. And so how do we kind of approach this to reclaim this holiday, in this instance of Mercury retrograde, as, wow, I give extra patience to myself. I give extra grace to myself and to others to say what we want to say in maybe more words than we need, or to say something, not have it come out right, or send an email that's not right and then go back and correct it. Like, this is the time for that patience, for that understanding, because we're all being pulled by Mercury retrograde. We're also in the middle of Venus retrograde, which was in Aries and was very like heightened and is going in its path. And Venus, of course, being our planet of heart, love, beauty, creativity, passion. There's just a lot going on. The things that we want to move forward are going back. The things we want to ritualize on are saying, no, thank you, not right now. And so why not rest? Why not say, all right, I'm going to pull the covers back up and I will see y'all like in April, just to have that idea. And I will say also for a little bit of hope, this week on Thursday, we have Aries season starting. I'm an Aries, so I'm a little like extra into it, but Aries is the first sign. So as Pisces ends, we are ending an astrological year. Aries is the first time we are beginning a new year. And so again, thinking about calendars, yes, we had the Gregorian New Year in January, Capricorn season. We had the Lunar New Year happening, Year of the Snake. And now we have the astrological New Year. So there's just many, many points in this period of time for letting go. Also eclipse season, lunar eclipse, letting go, solar eclipse, new beginnings. So we're in really a time of shifting, letting things go, letting things be, especially as eclipse season brings the things that we're not sure of or that were underneath the surface to our front focus, to our face. Can be, eclipses can be very in your face about it. Aries season, Aries is the first sign. Aries is a fire sign. I think of it like an arrow on fire. Aries is like, let's go. 8 of Wands style, let's go. And it's the spring equinox. So it's also this, the quarter, if you celebrate equinoxes, it's the quarter of the spring, renewal, flowers, blooming as we lead to summer. So all of the things are happening right now, which is also why it might feel like a lot. But we're here and we've got each other and we have the ability, hopefully, to rest in some way. So I'm going to close us with a little bit of good old fashioned melanated tarot for a message for the week in addition to rest. So go ahead and just take a couple of breaths that as you release them, you let something go. You feel as you breathe in an investigation and feel as you breathe out something you're holding release. And let's just do that again together. To breathe in and investigate. What am I holding? And breathe out and let it go. Let something go. All right. And then we'll send our sparks out to our ancestors and guides, to all of the divine femme and cosmic forces conspiring in our favor, doing the hard work of cutting and creating right now so that we stay true and connected to whatever is pressing for us individually and collectively, especially queer and trans community, and the work that is needed right now to center our most vulnerable people. And what do we need to hear? What do we need? What will help guide us this week? Oh, okay. So here we have the Four of Cups. Even though we are in Pisces now too, and we're like leading towards fire, from water to fire. But this is a water card. This is a heart card. This is a card that says, let's not forget to look at or be ignoring the blessings. All these upright cups are things going well, containing containers of the water versus cups that have fallen and the water is spilled as emotions do. This is things we have going for us and more things coming our way. And you can see the person, we're kind of like, so this is an invitation, perhaps especially because eclipse season brings things to the surface that might have been underneath. What are the ways that you are blessed? What are the things that are going right? How, if we spend the amount of time and attention on the things that are going right versus the things that we want to shift and change, because sometimes we focus on a shift and change and then it happens and we're like, oh, is that all? Like, so how do you have a moment to appreciate what is there? And even again, maybe that is just that you can go and look out a window today. You can own your own mental state for a moment of connection. Those are my offerings this week. Thank you so much for spending time with me. For folks that are in the Bay Area, I have a tarot salon tomorrow that we're going to focus on the Fool's Journey, the major cards. It's going to be really fun. Find that at the link in my bio, but otherwise I will see y'all next week.